You good now? I don't know what happened. I've been having some trouble with OBS recently. I disconnected from streaming, but all I had to do was restart OBS in general, and then I was able to reconnect just fine. I don't understand. Ay, ay, ay. Right here on the sea ice. Okay, back to Steven's authoritative tirade against this poor young girl for saying F the hat. Aye.
More.
Give you a little ice cop hat. What the? Puff your cheeks as if you can't even breathe from the sheer indignity of the affront. This is stupid. I'm about to reload a save because of this. I think I might save scum because of this.
I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
Girl is visibly shaken.
The lieutenant is watching the scene unfold before his eyes, unsure how to react.
Start jumping up and down on the sea ice, gesturing toward it with both hands, as if to say this is where it was supposed to take place.
The girl looks down, slowly curling into a ball. That's it. You've earned it. Start crying. Life's hard.
Anyway, I can't believe you used obscenities like that in front of a police officer, and you should.
The words are stuck in your throat. All that comes out is tears pouring down your face. The young woman has kept her eyes trained on her wires, waiting for the lecture to end. But now she hears sobbing. Looking up, she sees a grown man on the wrong side of 40, his face bloated from alcohol and God knows what else. Not so quietly, crying.
This isn't really about the hat, is it?
No. No, it's not.
You know, you're not the only one with issues. I self-medicate. Shit. Life's a horror, you know? Crying helps, though. Get it out your system. And then maybe we can talk, okay? I'll be here.
Why did you do this? No, Kim, don't talk to me about what just happened. Please don't. Please don't. Having looked away during the final phase of your little episode, the lieutenant now addresses you.
Do you want to talk about what just happened?
That's probably a good idea.
Normally, I'm opposed to discussing one's feelings, especially on duty. But I think this is an exceptional case. So, what do you think happened?
Crygasm. Experienced a minor malfunction. I'm okay now. Convince yourself that you didn't melt down just now. Experienced a minor malfunction.
Glad to hear it was minor. Can you go on?
I can't, and I'm sorry, Kim. I promise this is the last time.
Then, let's go. Yes?
Nothing. Nothing. Damn! Why'd you make me do this?
So, like, seriously, what's eating you, man?
There is a hint of pity in her eyes. Her hair is dyed blonde, with dark roots showing, and she wears thick black eyeliner. Most men wouldn't call her pretty. There is a manliness to her, a coarseness.
Yeah, can we talk for a minute? What's your name? What's that device you have there? What are you doing out here in the cold? What are you doing?
Recording, I guess.
And what is it you're recording exactly?
I think I'm recording cracks in the ice. But there's no way to tell. Not without headphones. I think I just recorded your footsteps too. Not sure how that will sound.
He scratches her forehead.
What happened to the old headphones?
Wait, what happened to the headphones?
My boyfriend sold them.
Oof. What for?
I don't know, man. Things. Just stuff you need for life.
Everything checks out, sire.
Hmm? And what are these recordings for? The cracks, footsteps?
The musicians in the Palaceum used them for making music. They looped the stuff, cutting the tapes together. They make music out of cracks in the ice and keys jangling. Crazy sounds like that. It's hard to explain.
That's weird. Makes me think of Animal Collective.
Anyway, I thought I'd make some too. It's supposed to be, like, a music place anyway.
She rubs her shoulders and looks around.
The girl is cold all of a sudden. Very cold.
I don't really know what I'm doing. They use synthesizers too. I don't have a synthesizer.
She looks at the recording device. The thing she thought would fill her hours with joy and escape. It's turning out to be an empty fantasy. She feels childish. Very useless all of a sudden. The sharp drop in endorphins is almost visible. Like a warm blanket has fallen off her shoulders. The wave of chill. The quivering jaw. Indications of a drug high. She is on some kind of stimulant, amphetamine or methadone, and its effects are wearing off fast. She will begin to experience more and more valleys now, and fewer peaks.
Take this, you're cold.
The lieutenant begins to take off his jacket.
No, man, fuck that, I'm cool. I'm sorry I said that. I'm sorry about the fuck.
It's okay.
The lieutenant backs up. He throws you a glance. Now this is where a hat would come in handy. He said it's supposed to be a music place. What is?
That? The boys think it could be a place, like the Palaceum or something. Stupid. It's really not gonna be a Palaceum, that's for sure.
And who are these boys?
The boys?
Yeah, Andre and the guys, they're inside, in the tent.
You know, this is where a hat would come in handy.
Yeah, maybe you were right about the hat.
I had some other questions.
Go ahead.
Wait. Oh, it's an empathy check. I guess it's not my ability to... It's not my ability to pick it up, it's more so my ability to pick it up and then reason with her or something. What's your name?
Estelle.
And your surname? Oh, wait, Sell who? I'm not a young suitor. This is official police business. Oh my god.
Why?
From the police, it's for paperwork.
Okay, it's Berger.
Burger. Alright. Oh, but we all know you wouldn't do that even though you'd never wear it yourself. Also, FYI, this conversation with her has the lines that made me laugh the hardest in the game. I hope you get to them. Oh boy. What's that device you have there?
This is a portable recording device. It's for field recording. Low quality, but still.
And the wires?
Actually, just one wire. I picked on it till the braiding came loose. The wire leads to a contact microphone.
What's a contact microphone?
A contact mic records sounds from inside things, like this ice.
Nice. You could maybe bug someone with it. Wiretapping.
How does this thing work? Where did you get the mic from? Actually, I had some non-mic questions. How does this thing work?
The mic? I don't exactly know. Somehow it doesn't pick up vibrations from the air. The book said it only picks up structure-borne sound, if you like technobabble.
Where did you get the mic from?
Same place I got the recorder from, the Palaceum.
What's the Palaceum?
Oh man, you haven't been to the Palaceum? It's the coolest place in this whole drug-addled shithole. It's a music club and a synthesizer workshop on Boogie Street in Jamrock. Musicians live there, like real musicians. I once saw Arno van Eyck.
Thinking about it really cheers her up. It's a long way from here, though.
Sounds interesting. Who's this Arno guy? What the? Sounds like a place for congregating homosexuals? What the hell?
Oh yeah, guess you wouldn't know Van Eyck. Or really be a Palaceum going kind of person.
I get down.
I don't know what that means.
I grind.
I don't know what that means either.
I hate this. Oh, I'm an old man. I'm an old man. Means I'm hit beyond my years. Nor do I, but I have concrete evidence that I rock in the form of a wrecked tape player in a completely trashed hotel room. Neither do I, actually. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Get down, grind. Hit beyond my years.
That's cool.
She breathes on her fingers. Looks like she doesn't know what to say. Never mind. Let's talk about the contact
Sure.
mic.
Okay.
Non-mic related questions. Okay, never mind. Your int stats are not high enough to get it. My disappointment is immeasurable and my day ruined. That's too bad. My left eye is watering for some reason. I ask you to reload the conversation to quick close that boost your encyclopedia so you can get the dialogue, but we both know that will never happen. Sure won't. Sup, Tenjin? Literally everyone entering this stream. I felt it right now, too. Tell me more about this music player you've been planning... The music place you've been planning in the church.
It's supposed to become, like, a club for Nordic dance music, like that new style of synthesizer stuff they play at the Palaceum. Except that, yeah.
It looks like the old wooden church up on the poles. As a mean wind comes bellowing in, the 6-story structure lets out a doleful shriek.
The floorboards are twisting, and the shooting beams are slowly cracking, like bones. Far east of the Golden Delta, beyond the industrial port, there is a black patch of unlit coast with the smallest creatures on the ice. There will never be a club for anodic music here.
Ouch.
Not in a million years.
Stop Sonic. Can't wait for FF16 May Cry to come on Steam. Has there been any announcement? I feel like that's gonna take at least half a year. Basically, when she says... Do I want to read that? I feel like I shouldn't. Yeah, probably a year or so. Man. Sony has PS5 exclusivity for a year. Ah, shoot. What is anodic dance music? So you want to turn the church into a club. Enough about the church then, I had another question. What is anodic dance music?
You know, anodic, cathodic, music that's made with electronic instruments.
Electronic instruments like what?
Synthesizers and tape consoles. Microcomputers too. Anything that uses electricity, but isn't guitars. Also found sounds, stuff like that.
So you want to turn the church into a club?
I know. It's not my idea. Andre and the boys found the place. It was supposed to be deserted, but now they can't even take it. Hey, don't get me wrong, but you're cops, right?
No, we're the police. Yeah, why do you ask?
Okay, well, Maybe you could talk to Andre and the guys. Because there are some strange things going on in that church. If you're police, you should look into it, right?
We'll see. I prefer to remain non-committal. Talk to them. I'll talk to them.
They're inside that thing there. Would be cool if you did. Was there something else?
Oh, who at the church?
Go ahead.
Yeah, we can talk for him. Can we talk for him?
I was wondering when you would come around. What's up?
Guess there is something that's been making my life hell.
What is it?
I think it's the plight of the working class. Everyone is just mooching off the entrepreneurial class, shackling the doers. I think it's all these foreign people taking our jobs. People just keep putting their selfish interests ahead of the greater good. Read it, you hecking coward. You'll never stream your reaction to it. Just read it. Can't avoid a political answer now. I sure can't. I messed up. Take me back. Take me back. It's this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No one understands that sometimes you gotta make sacrifices for the sake of progress. It's all very distressing.
So, the thing that's got you crying in front of strangers is the slow pace of social progress.
Don't get me wrong, I'm all for slow and steady progress. I just wish people would be a little more reasonable is all. No, it's probably not it, is it? Yeah, pretty sure. Now I have some questions about something else entirely. This.
Okay. So you're not that upset, it sounds like.
Odie, I'm highly distressed by this state of affairs.
Uh-huh. And you're sure it's social progress you're distressed about, and not, I don't know, some chick?
Positive. Now, I had some questions for you before all this started.
Go ahead.
Shoot, dude, I feel like I didn't do anything real there. That was just...
The device is still warm from her touch and heavy as a brick from the batteries inside. The company logo, Omicron, adorns its yellow plastic cover. Inside, the tape is rolling. The girl looks at the device in your hands.
Sorry you have to sit here on the ice with the drugs wearing off at your age, or at any age, in this weather, waiting for it to get dark.
She looks you in the eye, her pupils wide, surrounded by a ridiculous amount of makeup.
The people who built this world intended it to be better for you, but they failed. It is easier to live in their failure with this by your side. Tap on a tape recorder.
The wind howls. She remains silent. It's real. Tell her.
It is not a childish fantasy. It can be a real weapon against what's coming for you now.
What is?
Shoulders shake a little. Nothing if you got this. Don't be scared. I feel like I shouldn't say the dark.
Okay, I'll stick to it.
She takes the device from you and places it in her lap.
So, thanks, I guess, for the psych session. I guess that means we're even?
Sure.
Okay, bye.
That felt nice. I just wish I didn't do that breakdown thing. That was awful. Maybe the lack of chicks is distressing in the mind of this man's. Oh, it definitely is. That's been eating at me for the past maybe a month now. Steven, make a save now? I mean, I was gonna do that regardless of whether or not you told me. Screw this up, I will need you to reload. Oh, no. FF16 is like the DMC of Final Fantasy. Only seen gameplay of it and could probably be in the Game of the Year list. Really.
The tent is just tarpaulin fabric covering a pile of stuff. The flap is open. Inside, 3 young men are listening to some new form of music. It's like nothing you've ever heard. One of them looks at you.
Come on, get in and close the flap behind you. The warm stuff's getting out.
Sure.
Sorry, we barely have room for one.
You go ahead. I'm too old for this.
I'm actually not, he thinks. I just dislike delinquents.
I'm sure you will feel right at home. I'll keep watch.
He gestures for you to squeeze in. Oh boy. Hello. Canisters filled with what appears to be water. The label says distilled. Speaker, the big kind they use for live music. A pile of nasal sprays, brand name Nosafed Ultra.
A young man with peroxide blonde hair holds up a Harman Welshi tape player, nodding along to the music. He looks at you with a knowing smile and says,
Hardcore!
Yeah.
Hardcore!
I got nothing for you, man.
Hardcore to the mega!
Alright!
Here comes the night!
could there have been a right way out of this garden of forking paths, you think?
No.
Go speak to Andre. I'm just annoyed.
Strangely dressed young man says without looking up from his toolbox. What if I want to speak to you first?
I suck at socialising, man. If you go speak to Andre, I'll have time to tune in, get a reading on your sign.
Before he's finished talking, he's already turned back to his tools. Alright.
The young man picks up a thin metal saw blade and nods.
Excuse me? Just keep talking to Egghead? What? No! He has nothing
You
for
see
me.
a youngish man bleaching the tips of his hair with a toothbrush. He puts the toothbrush down and extends his hand in greeting.
Hey, what's up?
Hello, I'm Andre. It's a pleasure to meet you.
I'll shake your hand.
His grip is strong, sweaty, and warm. He's trying to project and inspire confidence.
This is my posse, Noid.
The young man with earrings looks at you suspiciously.
And Egghead. Egg!
The tape player high above his head continues to blast what is probably hypnotic music.
Together with a Settle Burger, who's out there right now, doing some seriously progressive sonic experimentation, we like to think of ourselves as music venue organisers.
Wait, how many music venues have you organized?
We have many in the pipeline, officer.
Why are you here?
You see, we've been all over Jamrock North, prospecting for real estate to establish a new venue in.
Also for talent.
Yeah, thank you, Egghead. And while there is no shortage of raw, unfettered talent spinning tapes in Jamrock, we've had rotten luck with the real estate part.
Place is a shithole.
I apologise for my friend Noid's potty mouth. I realise this is not how you speak to a police officer. He has authority issues.
No need, this place is pretty bad. Next time watch yourself. Is there something you wanted? Your friend Estelle said there was a problem with the church.
Oh,
Yes.
so you've met her? Good, good.
He nods.
Yeah, it's a matter of occupied ecclesiastical property. I bet you've noticed the derelict hive of narcomania on the coast.
Of what? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the church, and I'm not exaggerating. Even a place of spiritual refuge can become a magnet for all sorts of dopeheads and burnouts if left unattended.
Dopeheads. Burnouts.
He angrily spits on a screw, then starts cleaning it.
Well, I'm sad to say, that's exactly what happened. Sad because we were just about to put Martinez on the map with one of the maddest dance clubs in Jamrock. Nah, strike that. In Revachol.
Strike that! The word!
And sadder yet, because the dopeheads and burnouts hold up in there are the worst kind.
He
Okay.
leans back a little, watching you with a steady, serious gaze, letting you imagine just how bad those dopeheads and burnouts really are.
Uh-huh. What's up, Days? What for does the Versus badge stand for? I have it too. That was there for a Twitch event called Super Ultra Combo Week. It was the week before the release of... The week including the release of Street Fighter 6. Twitch was basically doing a whole bunch about fighting games in general. And I guess if you have a Twitch account and went through that entire ordeal, then you get that badge. Leans back a little, watching our
Good.
we already read.
This calls for an opinion. You're an expert in those.
What kind? Won't stand for narcomaniacs of any kind. No narcomaniacs on my watch. Shake your head gravely. What kind?
The spooky kind.
What exactly do you mean by spooky?
I was hoping you would be the judge of that, officer. All I can say is, their spookiness is the kind that keeps us from restoring this church into a community centre and a place of spiritual refuge.
Are you three dudes really gonna do that? Restore an entire church? I feel like that's not happening.
Also, they don't eat or clean the building. Shit's gonna collapse. People just wanna spin tapes without them spooking it up. Place has bad signs. No one can dance like that. Thank you, Egghead. So you're gonna look into it, right? It should be a police matter. Getting them out. Whatever spooky stuff they're doing, I'm sure it's not what the Ecclesiastes meant their property for.
I'll look into it.
All right, man.
He claps his hands enthusiastically.
Andre is obviously very happy you took him seriously. The whole tent is. The boys exchanged giddy looks.
Alright, that's cool. These dudes are cool. Stands for you being ready to throw hands offline behind the gym at 5 o'clock. The Versus thing? Shoot, glad I didn't turn that tag on. What's the status of the church? I haven't gone inside the building yet. Who exactly are these people inside the church? I know Noid has his signs, but what's the deal with Egghead there? Mentioned some kind of Ecclesiastes own the church. Who are these Ecclesiastes? Wanted to ask you about this tent full of equipment. There's a whole lot. What's the status of the
I
church?
asked Noid to install a measure against more drifters wandering in. A padlock. It's a temporary fix. Just something to contain the situation. I had to do it in an hurry. Not my best work, but it should hold for a while.
How long have those people been locked in there?
Not long. Like a week, maybe?
Bro! Okay, dude. How can you be sure they haven't starved to death?
I'm super sure they're alive. I mean, come on. I'm at least 90%, maybe 85% sure they're still alive.
Why did you go lower? 85% is not good enough when you're dealing with another person's physical well-being.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. You possibly killed however many people are in that building, and you say, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too. I guess it wasn't very hardcore of us to just lock them in like that.
You don't say. What about the key?
Of course,
Noid, give the officer the key.
All right.
The speed freak dips into his belt pack and produces a yellow key. He then makes a sudden, cool, infused move, tossing it in your general direction. I got this. Let it fall to the ground, then pick it up like a normal adult person. I got this.
You sense the trajectory of the little piece of metal and plastic. The object makes a small ringing sound as it approaches. Just the tiniest chime to your left.
Catch.
Ka-ching! The key hits your palm. The speed freaks nod to you approvingly.
Bask in the glory. Play it cool.
The speed freak nods to you. A respectful nod. You proved something here.
Nice.
Sure, man. Tell us what you want to know. Let's do it.
Who exactly are these people inside the church?
Truth is, I don't really know. None of us do. I don't even know how many there are. All we've seen are glimpses.
You haven't even seen them, and you want the police involved?
Well, there's also the machinery. When I first scouted the place, back in February, it was abandoned, empty. Took some time getting the crew together. So about 2 weeks ago, we came here hoping to set the stuff up. Suddenly, there are all these strange machines lying around in there.
One of them has wires running into bowls of water. Wires into water. Never seen anything like it.
Andre, tell him about the feeling.
Oh, and it felt like there was something in there with us, watching us from the dark.
No, the other one.
Which other one? I'm not as in tune with my emotions as you are, Egg.
Hmm?
Felt like silence. Awful silence.
But you haven't physically seen anyone?
Not exactly. We've just seen someone who we think is a woman go in and out of the church. A couple of times. And we felt someone or something eyeing us inside. But that's kinda it.
You locked a woman in this church. What is wrong with you? What was that about something watching you? Can you tell me more about this machinery? So can you be sure there's... So how can you be sure they're burnouts and dope heads if you haven't seen them? This.
Well, honestly, I can't. But I am.
Why not? Let's go with that.
I don't see a single thing wrong with that argument.
I'm 70% sure they're substance users. Don't let the technology fool you.
Mm-hmm. He makes little quotation marks with his fingers when he says technology. Was that about something?
Like, you aren't alone, you know?
It wasn't quite human, if you know what I mean.
Non-human means a predator.
It was this dark shape climbing upside down along the ceiling, like some kind of crab man.
A crab man?
Yeah, you know, the way it was climbing up and around the ceiling, like a crab.
What do you...
It was stalking a cell, exhibiting ambush behavior.
Are you sure there was a crab man?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I didn't personally see it. A cell was alone that time, but I believe her. If she comes out running and says there's a crab in there, there's a crab in there.
So he hasn't even been in there lately. Is he afraid?
Oh, he definitely is.
You should ask her about it, but be nice. Don't tell her you don't believe in the crab.
You tell me more about this machinery.
You should talk to Noid about that. I just got a distinct burnout and dopehead sign from them. Probably jacked up to some snuff station too. Probably, very likely.
With a small surge of PEA, alertness fills you, as if to say, this is a dark corner. Look behind it.
Jacked up to some snuff station?
It means like one of those rich boy private radio stations, where you can listen to people getting killed on, then jerk off to it. Sick shit.
Why is your first connection to that jerking off to it?
Not that we would know anything about that. Noid just likes to relay stuff.
Yeah. I'm very happy you took this task. It's my favorite in the game. Please see it to completion before you finish the game. Big maybe. Now that we know anything about that, Noid just likes to...
We're getting derailed here. In short, you can tell to Noid about the machines. He'll tell you more.
Alright.
Sure. What?
I know Noid has his signs, but what's the deal with Egghead here?
He's a quiet man, mostly communicates through music, and by being a master of ceremonies.
What's the Master of Ceremonies?
You know, a host, a declaimer of slogans. He's a performer, gets the people going.
How do you communicate with him?
Well, he's just kind of here. I don't really know how to communicate with him.
Have you ever really talked to him?
Yeah, sometimes. When I stumble and find my way into his center, you have to hear a lot of hardcore to the mega first though.
The man smiles mysteriously, choosing to let the beat speak for itself. I get it. He's a puzzle.
You mean some kind of... I don't remember how to say this word. On the church, who are these people?
Oh yeah, that's a meteor and name for the founding party. Thought it'd be cool to use it.
Before we go on, what do you mean by meteorin?
You know, of Meteo, concerning Meteo.
Meteo?
Meteo, a country, on Muindi, on the Muindi Isla.
Oh. And what is the founding party?
Come to think of it, I've never really looked them up, you know. I can't give you a precise definition, but they're a very powerful religious organization.
And?
And they have roots in ancient mass society. And they're the custodians of the Pericarnassian church. Plus, they anoint the innocents. They, made the innocentic system, no?
They don't sound like they would appreciate a dance club in their church.
You're totally wrong about that.
The Pericarnassian church is about love. And Nordic music is about love. I got love for my Pericarnassian posse. Love is the relay out of death. We dance.
He violently shakes the tape player as if to see if he can break it.
Love is hardcore.
Unity! Unity!
Make some noise for my Insulindian posse.
He turns the volume up, then looks at you with a knowing nod as if it's obvious you will now break into dance.
You feel it. The anodes and the cathodes coursing through you. Your big toe starts tapping along to the bass, as if testing the waters.
No words, enjoy the beat, nod your head. Don't quite understand what you're talking about. What's a posse?
Feels good.
Now I understand it was lame of me to suggest otherwise. Anodic music is about love, and so is the Pericarnassian church.
Yeah! Yakokata! The place to be!
He seems ecstatic that you share his vision of Pericarnassianism.
Do it for the masses. Do it for the crew.
His friend forms a fist with a screwdriver still in his hand, approvingly so.
I didn't want to say it, but it was pretty lame of you to imply otherwise. Anyway, you got more questions?
The one with the large head is still looking at you, nodding his head, waiting for your body to start moving. You feel like you could go for a little disco when, or if, they get this club going. You've got it in you.
I wanted to ask you about this tent full of equipment.
Yes. What?
So you brought your own water. What's with all the nosefad? You brought your own water.
Yeah. Good to have, bitch to carry. When I first scouted the place, I did some reconnaissance. I'm not sure the church even has running water.
And it's distilled too.
Oh,
He doesn't know what to say.
it's the one they sell at the fuel station.
What's with all the nosefad?
The what now?
Quiet the bottles of nasal spray in your corner. The Nosafed Ultra, you have a lot of it lying around.
Oh, the old Ultra. I have a major sinus infection, stuffy nose. We all do. Shit's all blasted up. Winter, can't even breathe.
Sound fine to me.
Yes.
What's up,
that's
Avatar
what
Prince?
Nosafed's doing. Without the Noser, I'd be drowning in shit right now.
Nosafed is the shit.
Can I have some? Alright. Good, now on to the next bit.
Yes. What?
Sounds like he got COVID. I think that's just how he talks. Alright,
He
enough of this.
nods enthusiastically, no doubt a little relieved.
Cell was high, unexplained Nosafed. Maybe everything isn't quite as you've told. Take a moment to analyze. I'm not
As
gonna
always,
try that. That's
we'll be
3%.
right here, waiting patiently for the news. Yeah.
Wow, so someone's been a little boring.
What?
Yes, my standard liege. Someone's seen all sorts of wild ideas pop off and thought, I'll take the boring one. The regular, please. The brown.
Leave me alone. My god. I like brown. I like standards. Look, I'm just trying to do my job. No need for extravagance. Is this picking on me for not being crazy enough? That's the least of my concerns. This.
No need to be defensive. The regularity, the brownness, the cut and dry have their appeal. A very standard appeal.
I'm just trying to do my job. No need for extravagance.
Of course you do. Let's get right to it. My lord's copper type is regular cop. I'll let everyone know. I'll send that to Telefax.
Leave me alone, drama. Didn't know this dialogue even existed. This is amazing. Steven, this is what you get. Why he sounds like the voice that can advertise a car, beer watches, etc. He's just good at that, which makes sense considering he is every single part of your psyche. He speaks for every part of it when it shows up. I think he does a good job. If I'm not mistaken, this is, Gianni, right? Get Gianni? The guy speaking for your entire mental state. Of course you do. Let's get right to it. Yeah, capo type is regular cop. Wait, this will be my capo type now? Why not send out the telefax then? I'm not ashamed.
Yes, the type of cop you are, sire. Think of it as a caste, a class even, a nation of regular law officials that you belong to. It comes, of course, with the usual benefits.
Sure, dude. I mean, as long as I'm not sorry about everything again.
Done and done. No actual communiques will be sent, of course. That would be too dramatic.
My god. Regular law official. Okay, so it looks like you've got a bit of the normal in you. A touch of the regular 4 grams of Johnny Normal Cop. Who would have thunk it? You, the extremist of all the cops. You said some pretty boring things back there, and now you have 2 choices. You can either leave it behind and forget about it, or you can try to utilize your normalcy. Internalize it. Get a touch of vanilla back into the herring-flavored egg and licorice ice cream of your mind. Uh-huh. You.
So you had a talk with Andre, and now you want to discuss things with Noid?
He stooped over his toolbox as usual, shuffling bolts around angrily.
That's fine, man. But I've got to warn ya, our signs are still off. It'll take some time for me to get my sigh on.
But I thought we'd be okay now, sign-wise. Tell me about the machines you saw in the church. I'll come back later. Screw this. I just want to go into the church. I want to let whatever woman is trapped in there out. It's kind of uncool that we just locked her in there for a week's time and then walked away. To your right, a white-bellied cormorant eyes you suspiciously. Is that a bird? I don't know what that is. Read its content. Game told him twice about it, and he still walks away. No, I know about that. I just don't feel like doing it. Not right now, anyway. I'll come back to it. Is this the door? Feel a shadow of a very large building fall on you.
Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you. The rectangular sea-worn ornamentation appears in stark contrast to the padlock, carelessly drilled into the wood.
Open the padlock with the key.
The lock turns easily. You hear a click as the shackle pops open.
Let's go.
The lieutenant nods at you.
A great whoosh of air rushes into the dark innards of the church, as though rushing to fill a great vacuum. In the heart of the city.
Where am I? Strange stillness fills you as you look ahead. You should walk here, not run. I'm kind of wondering why, but alright. Blackboard is filled with complex equations. They look recent. Something to do with radios, frequencies. I would really like to run. More of the forked lighting patterns you saw outside. It's again int too low to do anything? Man. Grotesque wooden figure looks half finished. Oh, so you will arbitrarily start walking when the game tells you to, but you won't talk to the funny NPC. Yes! The bowl is filled with water. A live wire runs directly into it. But these wires work as contact microphones? Isn't there supposed to be someone in here? A spider has spun its web around this wood-carved pillar. Cracked pane of glass, colorful. Frost has drawn flowers on the glass, obscuring the view. A figure drawn in frost on the window depicting a deer.
The silence in this part of the church, it's almost palpable. All the shifting matter and shuffling of living things is gone. Nothing seems to exist beyond the church anymore. Maybe if you were to stand in just the right spot, even your footsteps would be completely silent.
Wait, I think I still hear something.
And then it's gone. Almost all of it. But for the faintest of hums. You can hardly hear your own breathing.
Yell as loud as you can, stomp your feet and clap your hands. Let's go for a yell.
Your voice is barely audible. Not a howl, but the softest of whimpers. It's unnerving.
Stomp your feet.
You produce a few muffled thumps, after which the silence feels even more total, somehow.
Turn to Kim. What's happening?
The lieutenant points to his ears and shakes his head. Then he leans closer.
Can you hear anything?
Almost nothing. That's beginning to worry me.
I wonder
This.
why the church was built with such strange acoustics.
His detached tone conceals how uncomfortable he is.
Relatable? Yeah. Looks like they did not, in fact, lock a woman in here. It seemed like they did. Sounded like they did. It's probably nothing, just our imagination. Whatever it is, it's definitely real. Something odd is happening around us.
The lieutenant doesn't reply, but you can sense him tense up next to you.
Look up into the bell tower.
The orderly rows of ceiling panels become barely visible, then disappear completely in the darkness of the tower overhead.
What if I don't want to know what's up there? Perception. Damn it.
Just darkness without end. It makes your head spin.
What's the darkness like? Try to make out something, anything. Blink.
There's nothing. You're dizzy and disoriented as you see dark and more dark rising.
Officer, what are you looking at?
He follows your gaze, attempting to see whatever it is that you are seeing. What's the darkness like?
Filled with vague shapes of woodwork, the sense of a great height.
Blink. Hey,
You
yo!
see something hanging from the rafters, looking straight at you with dark eyes. Maybe it's possible to talk to it.
Hey, yo! What the hell? Nah. Give me a minute. Two decks of reel-to-reel tape spinning on empty. Andre did say it was spooky. Yeah. Portable Harman Wuxi tape recorder.
In white, silver, and apricot faience, the young mother of humanism stands above you. A crack runs across her body. She is impossibly tall, oval-faced and sad, a dark and radiant majesty. This is her innocence, Dolores Day. Cradled in her arms are a pair of glowing lungs, clearly visible from underneath her flowing dress. You should kneel.
Sure.
Your knees touch the floor. The floorboards are hard and cold. There you kneel among the snowdrifts, diffuse light falling on your hands from beyond the glass.
Close your eyes first.
The world is silent, but for the creaks and cracks of the massive wooden structure behind you, it covers you from the wind outside. The woman looks down at you kneeling. She towers among her followers, architects, laymen, courtiers. There is a sad smile on her lips and a glint in her green-blue eye of what? Compassion? Remorse?
It's not possible to live. It's morning. Morning?
As that terrible word passes through your mind, the lieutenant draws an X-shaped cross from shoulder to shoulder.
Do the same as you get up.
Your fingertips touch your chest 4 times. Then you rise from your knees into the apricot-colored light of the window. Above you, the woman still smiles her distant smile, sundered by the crack in the glass.
This is Dolores Day.
The old woman in the village was right. This must be the Delorean Church of Humanity in Martinez, or the small Pinewood Church in some records. It's a minor landmark, not easy to find. Most maps misplace it. It was built not long after Revachol's founding, 300 or so years ago, by first-generation settlers.
What else do you know?
There used to be 7 stave churches on the coast. Les Sept Sœurs, they call them, the 7 sisters. Only one remains. The rest were burnt in the revolution or used for building materials. We should be respectful here. Although the building appears to be deserted, I do not believe we'll find anything connected to the lynching here. Something else, perhaps?
He looks at the machinery lying around.
A pang of guilt. The lieutenant is leaving something out.
You know why it was abandoned?
I have a theory, yes. There was a police raid a while back. I heard the place was shot to pieces. The old woman in the village was being tactful with us when she didn't mention it. She has more respect for the RCM than many around here.
Who conducted this raid?
Well, your station was involved, I hear. Although I can't be sure.
You're not sure? 3
precincts were involved in the raid, and people say Precinct 41 was one of them.
I guess I could have been here.
I'm sorry, I'm not saying you were. It was a clandestine operation. I don't know anything about it, why it was conducted or who participated. I try not to pry into extra-district matters.
If I was here, I should find out what I was doing.
Good luck. You will not get information on a confidential operation from your station secretary just by calling. If you really don't remember, it might be better to keep this one forgotten. It happened a while ago. It's unimportant to our business in Martinez now.
How did I know this is the mother of humanism?
It's a mystery sprinkled with self-pity and regret. For some reason, unknown to your mind, looking at her delicate eyes makes you feel like you're ready for drowning. All you know is, this is the young mother of humanity, and that you should go. Do something else. Escape her sad, worry-worn look.
Reconstruct the cracked glass.
The shards glimmer in the dark. You see little pearls of light on the edges of the crack that splits the female figure. Something was written there. Remains of broken letters line the emulsion. What it said, you do not know.
Visual Calculus Encyclopedia. Shoot. Double shoot. Alright, you weirdo.
Is that a man? Looks more like part of the carpentry of the building came alive and is now studying you intently. The Crab Man.
Hey, who's there? Does the police show yourself? Say nothing, be quiet for now. Hey, who's there?
The man leaned forward a little, fixing you with a steady, unreadable gaze, then speaks.
Habitual alcohol use has made you into a scared little pussy, Holmes. But don't worry, everything's gonna be alright. You come to the right place.
What are you doing here?
I'm here to receive the mother's love. You can too, Holmes. And when you're ready, she will take your hand and lift you out of that despair at the bottom of that bottle.
This man is obviously a habitual narcotics user. Do we really need to question him?
I'm put off by this religious stuff, he thinks. And maybe the ceiling climbing, too. It's all very hard to square with the lieutenant's own view of reality. Hey, and what was that about the bottle again? You haven't even drank that much lately. Lay off it already. Sheesh.
Yeah, I guess I have a bit of a problem and it's been getting out of hand lately. I'm a policeman, I need to talk to you about police things. I don't know anything about alcohol use.
Está crudo, way. I see deep inside you. Your body and your spirit are suffering greatly from overindulgence. And you don't even know it.
Great, more patronizing. So original. Oh, I'm really in touch with my suffering. How do you know what I'm feeling? Actually here on behalf of some young people looking to establish a nightclub.
I know it's hard to admit that you have a problem. I was like you once. Couldn't take an honest look at the damage Albino was doing to my mind and my spirit.
You know, actually, since we're here, you may want to pay attention to what the ceiling climber is saying.
Look at these crazies. What is this shit?
Some reason I feel like you have a point there. Who do you think you are? Some crazy guy under the roof? You know, alcohol is central to my identity. If I wouldn't drink, I just wouldn't be me. Stupid, I don't even know what this is. It's all well and good, but we need to talk about the unlicensed occupancy of ecclesiastic property. That's all well and good, but, like, ecclesiastic property.
The only thing we need to talk about is how the mother can really help you, Holmes.
His voice echoes in the cold air of the church.
This is the Church of the Mother of Silence. You are welcome here.
He sways gently on the beams, waiting for you to take it all in. Some ravers want to turn this place into a nightclub. Do you know where the other spooker is? Point at the strange machines around you. Some ravers want to turn this place into a nightclub.
The ones in the tent outside, right? I see them. Think they scared of me.
Wait, do they have reason to be scared? Guess you won't get in the way of some enterprising youth. Do they have reason?
Nah, man. They look pretty funny. And I don't harm no one anymore. Anyway.
Though he used to, a long time ago.
Okay. I trust you won't get in the way of some enterprising youth. Their business looks promising.
Wouldn't bother me none to have them spin music in here. I'm usually way up there, imbibing. Might even be nice to have some company.
He said that in spite of himself. He's more attached to the human than he'd like to think.
You know where the other spooker
Other
is?
spooker? Oh, esa viejita es muy estudiosa. Don't know, Holmes.
The hell did you just say? Wait, so there is another person living in the church, and it's... I don't know how to say this. Vieta? I don't know what...
No. I just call her viejita because of her clothes.
Viejita.
She's
okay.
actually quite young. Or maybe not that young. Age is just one of the many masks we wear.
Excuse me? You don't know where she is.
That's what I said, Holmes.
How can you not know when you both live here?
Don't really follow her comings and goings. Just see her typing on her computer now and then. We got different interests.
You've got nothing else to tell me. How she looks, what she does, who is she?
I'm afraid not, Essay. You just have to wait until she comes back, or
search through her radio computer.
Okay. You must be the crab man?
never known myself to be a crab. But if that's the name you got for me, I won't stop you from using it.
To be fair, it's really more of a spider. If you're not a crab, then what are you? Sorry, you just weren't moving like a human. Hey, it's your neighbors who came up with this name, not me.
I always thought of myself more like a flame, flickering along the rafters and beams. It may be that I gotta work on my technique.
Were you before you became a crab man?
I was in a gangway, but my memories of that time are fading. Most of them are already gone.
Many people losing their memories, certain important of doom. Crabman, a Dota player? Excuse me? Regular cop option to chooser. Is this supposed to be derogatory? Doesn't feel very derogatory. Huh. Oh, it would haunt me if I lost my memory.
No, man. You gotta let that shit go. Then the mother's light touch will fill you with rapture.
Do you remember your name, sir?
Tiago's my name. But those syllables don't mean much to me these days. A name isn't just your identity, but also, so to speak, your place amongst your fellows, your place in the world. I ain't got no use for such a place anymore.
Name's Harry. Extend your hand for a greeting. My name sets me apart from my fellows. How often do you meet a ref? Name's Harry Dubois, and my place in the world is Lieutenant W. Freighter. Don't do names either. Names are out. I don't care what mine is. I'm gonna go with my name's Henry and extend my hand.
That's just the
Harry.
thing, Holmes. None of that matters.
He ignores your hand. His limbs a mere shadow below the ceiling.
This
What are you
is
doing
a
here?
special place. There's a perforation in the world up there. A way out into nothingness. This church was built around it for purposes of veneration. I circled it, nurtured by the silence bestowed by the mother. One of these days, I'll be pure enough to go drink from it directly.
This mother of silence, you mean her?
No. There's a new god in town, and she can be painted or sculpted because she has no limb or even a face. She is the end. She is a cavity in the dark beyond sense. She saved me, but I couldn't describe her to you. No one can, Holmes, and no one ever will.
His adoration is beyond sexual. This cavity is something that no human form has.
The heck? What will happen once you drink from this perforation?
I will be incinerated, but not destroyed. Finally, I won with the state of the world before reality began.
You sure you didn't just switch one drug for another? Still don't understand what you're doing in the church. How do you even find this place, this church? How you doing, Playhead? Did I already... It doesn't matter. I'm not questioning it. Used to be a meme for bad Dota players, a pretty old and stupid meme, which pretty much meant you got crab claws for hands. Oh, okay. Also, since you didn't believe me, some new Revenant abilities were shown. Apparently he's got a wall run, unknown if he keeps the climb. Gets a completely new ultimate being the same as Fade. Huh? Apex Mobile exclusive character had when Apex Mobile was a game. And his ult will be like an AoE. He targets and sends everyone to the void, sort of like AoE bomb that forces people and rates E. I don't know how else to explain it. What, he just teleports his entire team into one place, just like Ash? Is the difference that it does damage? What about the death totem, though? Does that just get removed? I liked the death totem. He puts them in rates E. Oh, okay. Death totem is scrapped. I sleep. I don't understand what you're doing in the church. How did you find this place?
Hard to say. I think I did some construction work here, back when I still had material worries. Up there, I realized what the true purpose of the church was. Been spending a lot of time here ever since. The past is nothing to me now, eh? It didn't belong to me.
Does it mean he witnessed the police raid?
Oh, shoot. I don't understand what you're doing in the church.
I'm a seraph, Holmes. I sing the mother's glory.
You sing for me? Sing for me something. Doesn't really make sense for you to sing if she's the mother of silence. Sing for me
I
something.
ain't from no Marietti, if that's what you're thinking. And the song I sing is silent as the mother.
He lost his cool there for a moment. Seems you hit some nerve.
Shoot. I had other questions.
The sinewy figure lingers on the wooden beams, blending into the shadows.
Been here for a long time. Did you see the police raid that took place here?
Something like that.
He responds, his voice suddenly flat.
Did you witness it?
Not really. Or at least I don't remember much of it anymore. The mother's love has done its job. That's what's so great about the mother. It lets you forget about everything.
Okay. Thanks. Where's the other person that lives here?
A machine stands in the corner, watched over by the figures on the stained glass window. It's turned on and quivering with soft electricity.
Oh boy, this thing again. Whoops. I don't know if his Q will be changed. It might be. Death Totem is cool and fitting concept, but it's a horrible ult. No matter what you do with it, you can't make it good. At best, it can be overpowered, or... Is it supposed to be overpowered or underpowered? Or do you mean a type overpowered twice? Yeah, okay. Underpowered.
Another radio computer. And this time it's already turned on.
Seems cautious about the machine.
These machines sometimes harbor traps, he thinks.
What?
Alarm systems and the like. Let's be careful.
We should leave. I doubt this place bears any connection to the case.
Yes, but this machine looks like one in the doomed commercial area. Wait, let me just investigate it. Step behind the computer. You're right, let's get out of here. I'm gonna step behind the computer.
You see fluorescent play and print buttons on the keyboard. A hatch connected to the central compartment is wide open. The lieutenant says nothing. You see the machine's glowing frame reflected back from his diamond-shaped glasses. You're free to proceed.
Look inside the compartment.
Behind the hatch sits a cube-like crisscross of filaments, smoldering in the dark like fireflies. Silver tape on the side says, in black marker, log, February to March. Another filament memory. Press play to talk with the repeater.
Sure.
The speaker comes to life. Static seeps through the machine's planar magnetic driver. An old lady greets you. Her voice sounds 100 years old.
Good afternoon. Votre accident on Saint-Brune.
You
This
again.
is the East Insulindian Repeater Station 1. Please repeat. Is this the personal log?
It's the same old woman you spoke with through the radio computer in the doomed commercial area.
Yvonne, it's me again. How are you? Looked inside the core, but the tape on the film and just said log February, March. Fortress accident, like the one in the doomed commercial area. Yvonne, it's me again. How are you?
Good, thank you. Please repeat. Is this the personal log?
Looked inside the core, but the tape on the film it just said log February to March.
Good. Please repeat the password.
Let's look around. There's no use trying to guess the answer. Maybe he knows something.
And it nods toward Tygo. Password, I'm really bad at passwords. Can you give me a hint? Is it my birthday? To the police, please open this thing. Can you give me a hint?
No.
I don't know the password.
Received. I will register this login attempt. Votre accident. Is there anything else I can do for you today?
Fortress accident like the one in the Doom commercial area?
I have 2 machines registered to this company name in Martinez. One on Saint-Brun, the other on Rue de Saint-Ghislaine.
Saint-Brun, that's the church. And Rue de Saint-Ghislaine? That's the Doom commercial area.
Anything else I can help you with?
Yeah, there sure is. You could make my stream work again. Oh, are we back? Alright, we're back again. I don't know what's going on. Am I back? Chat, press 1 if I'm live again. OBS is telling me that I'm live, but I can't be sure. What the heck is going on, dude? Okay. I'm not actually live. Am I back? I would hope that I am. Okay. Why am I still offline? OBS, you're telling me that I am streaming currently. You are definitely telling me that. So what's wrong? Alright, looks like I gotta restart OBS again.